Hi everyone, Jester Bell is back with my very first Q&A. Now, I don't have much of a following yet, but thank you to the few people who sent me questions for this video. I've always wanted to do a Q&A. So, let's get started. So, the first question I got asked was, what do I think of Matt Reeves' The Batman movie that's supposed to be coming out? It was supposed to be coming out next year in July, and now it got moved to October because of the COVID. But, so, to get started on that, I'm not confident in this movie, to say the least, because I remember when this movie was coming out all the way back in 2018, and you see that didn't happen. And the reason that didn't happen is it just kept getting rewritten over and over and over again, because I don't think that Warner Brothers was confident in what they had out there, and I'm sure that Ben Affleck, whether he's going to stay or leave, and how to get him out of the DCEU. I'm sure that had a lot to do with it, but there's just been with so many rewrites of the movie. I'm like, I'm not confident in this movie because it doesn't seem like the filmmakers are confident in the movie. Otherwise, they wouldn't be rewriting it constantly. So, it was 2 years of rewrites. So, they finally got it off the ground and started casting for it, and they cast Robert Pattinson as the new Batman. And I had kind of a reaction like a lot of people did. Oh, the guy from Twilight, I don't want him to be Batman. And then other people were like, no, you got to give him a chance. He's a good actor in other things. He only did Twilight for the money. He hated Twilight. And I'm like, okay. I don't hate him. I don't have any reason to believe he's a bad actor. It's just that he doesn't give me any reason to be excited, though, and that's kind of what I feel with the rest of the cast and the story. It's like Zoe Kravitz looks like she could be a great Catwoman, but I haven't seen her in anything which tells me she's amazing or perfect for the role. She just has a look I like. It's the casting is either people I don't really know of, haven't really seen anything of them, or that I don't like in the role. Like Andy Serkis, he is a great actor, but very talented actor. But as Alfred, I don't see him at all. And that is the worst casting I've heard in this movie. Not because he's bad, just because he's the weirdest choice I've ever heard for Alfred. So you see that that a lot of this is not that anything is just flat out bad or cringeworthy, but just that it's very odd choices. And at this point, I'm like, I don't want another weird Batman movie. I want something that I can recognize and connect with as like, oh, these are the iconic characters I like. I mean, what the reason that part of the reason people really hate the DCEU is it keeps, aside from Wonder Woman, it keeps twisting with the characters people know. And I think that people would really be more excited at this point if we got like a very traditional Batman and a very traditional universe, not just another weird take on it. And then just to continue with that, the story I keep hearing just weird things about the story. Not necessarily bad things, by the way, just weird things. Like Matt Reeves came out and was like, oh, this, or was it Robert Pattinson? One of them came out and was like, oh, this Batman is a humanist. And I saw a big debate about that, about what humanism might mean. My understanding of it was like the Renaissance version of it, where you basically believe that man is God, we are capable of anything. And I've never really seen that as Batman's ideology. I've never really seen him associated with that. And so, and then we have Robert Pattinson taking from Tom King's Batman, which is the worst Batman run ever, but we'll see how much of that translates, because oftentimes they say they're reading comics and the comics don't translate at all. But it's just so much of the movie just sounds odd to me, and not bad, but odd. And I said this on Twitter that I think it's gonna be a movie that maybe is not a bad movie. Maybe it's not Batman and Robin or Batman versus Superman level, but I just don't think it's gonna be what people want from Batman, because I really do think people want a traditional good Batman right now. They don't want another twisting of it. And that's kind of what I feel Matt Reeves is doing at this point. And I mean, we've got the whole situation of, again, what I said in the beginning, the rewrites, so I don't know if they're totally confident. I would speculate that maybe they were just reworking it and reworking it and reworking it, and finally been like, okay, let's just go with this. And so, I'm not 100% confident in this movie. I don't think they are either, to be honest, even though they went forward with it. And recently they've been saying some really weird things in the news, like, oh, it's gonna be so raw. It's gonna be darker than any Batman film. And I'm like, are you sure about that? It just sounds like kind of vague buzzwords to just keep people interested. And I haven't really seen them do this kind of thing with their other movies. James Gunn has said a lot about the Suicide Squad, but none of them have been like these weird vague terms like it's gonna be so dark, just to get people so interested. So Yeah, again, I'm not confident in this film. I think I'll definitely go see it unless I end up thinking it's gonna be like Batman versus Superman, and I don't want to waste my money on it. But I'll definitely go see it. I'm a big Batman fan. I hope it's good. I hope that it can turn out. It is interesting that apparently it's gonna be in its own universe, like the Joker was, and not be connected to anything in the DCEU. So let's see. I think with that in mind, if it can be bad and then it doesn't have to really affect anything else, I can just leave it aside. I just really wish that they would know what to do with their characters more. Okay, so next question. This came from the same person. Asked me, what do I think? What are my first impressions of the last Airbender TV show, cartoon, anime? Um, because I actually haven't watched the show yet, but it's finally coming to Netflix. I'm going to be able to. Now, I haven't started it yet because I don't think it's supposed to be on Netflix until mid-May. And also, this is a little bit. This is a little bit of a secret and why I haven't been uploading as much. The COVID actually made our internet go down. Our internet's been a lot slower, so I can't. It's been a lot harder for me to watch as many movies and do as many uploads. And you can't go to Starbucks at this point as much because the Starbucks is shut down. You can't go in there. So last Airbender, I'm really looking forward to watching it. I have seen parts of the show and I'll tell you my impressions on that. What I saw from the show was a character called Toph, who's like blind, but she has bending abilities, but she's blind, and they make a lot of jokes about that in the show. And I thought a lot of them are funny jokes and in good taste, and I was just kind of amazed to see them do that because usually you kind of walk on eggshells, especially at a kids show these days. You know, can't make fun of someone who's blind, someone who has a disability, but they do it tastefully. They do it in a way that I really think worked and I thought was funny and I thought wasn't insulting. It was kind of like laughing with this disability rather than laughing at it. And so I was just like, wow, this feels like what a kids show should be. It's kind of like Batman the Animated Series where it can where it can be mature and it can respect the audience's intelligence and not think, oh, we do this, then kids are going to make fun of blind people now. It respects the kids' intelligence. And I've also seen, like, I think her name is Azula. Maybe I'm wrong about that name. I've seen a very interesting villain who's kind of crazy in that show and who has a lot of depth to her. I've seen little bits of her. And I've seen, like, I've seen bits of the character development and the emotion on the show. And I think I'm really going to like it because, again, it seems like Batman the Animated Series where it respects the audience's intelligence, even though it's a show for kids. It seems like what a kids show should be, something that's really smart and well structured, and has the character development, has the drama, and has the thematic elements. It's not Teen Titans Go that just thinks, oh, kids are dumb, so we're gonna give them dumb, mindless noise to watch. So I think I'm really gonna like it. I'll get started on it as soon as possible, and I will have a full review of the entire series when I'm finished. Okay, the next question was what do I think of the rumor that Daredevil might go to Hulu? And I'll tell you, I am a big fan of the Daredevil TV show that was on Netflix. I think Charlie Cox is one of the best castings that they've ever done. It's one of the best, when you think of Robert Downey Jr. Iron Man, Tom Hiddleston as Loki, Charlie Cox is Daredevil. It's one of the best superhero castings ever done. Such an amazing first season. But I gotta be honest, I am cynical about the future of that. Daredevil in particular has a lot of fans from the Netflix, and they just really from the Netflix series, and they just really want to bring him back and really want to support the actor of that character. And he's very, I've seen him very down since that show got canceled, and it got canceled because Kevin Feige wants to move Marvel in a different direction. And I'm very cynical and pessimistic about it because Charlie Cox is being pretty honest that he would love to come back, but he doesn't really see it at this time. And I think Kevin Feige was really clear about wanting to move away from the Netflix series and to his own Disney Plus series that he has more control over. So I think right now there's no plans of it, but I just feel like Charlie Cox and his Daredevil, he might have a better future on the screen as the MCU as a supporting character. I don't really know that they would ever put the effort in putting him on Hulu when they put so much effort into squashing the Netflix shows and moving on. It just seems like they're spending their time and money on the Disney Plus stories and trying to gear away from the R-rated MCU content. Even Deadpool is having a hard time being integrated right now because he's such an R-rated character already established by Ryan Reynolds, and now they're having a hard time, putting him in the MCU and trying to make him appeal to everybody. We'll see. I think I would love Charlie Cox to return. Like, it might probably be just in PG-13 movies where he himself comes back, if he comes back at all. Um, I mean, maybe Kevin Feige will finally give in and be like, okay, we can't have a little R-rated corner of the MCU again. Like Blade, a lot of people say Blade needs to be rated R. Maybe he'll still allow Deadpool to have some R-rated content. I just Blade is the big thing where I might indicate we might get some more R-rated content, so that's the big thing. But I think it's kind of down the line at this point if we'll ever get Charlie Cox back, and I don't think it'll be something like the show now can continue on Hulu season after season. I feel like it's more likely that they just let him as the character come back as a supporting character somewhere in the MCU, because like I said, they really moved away from the Netflix series, and they squashed it. Kevin Feige squashed it for a reason, so I can't see him going back to that so quickly, even if the fans beg him. So that's the unfortunate truth. I'm just being honest about that. I'd love to see him come back, but I don't think that it's gonna happen in the near future. And right now they're just, Marvel's trying to struggle with getting their own shows out. So we're not gonna hear anything more of that for now. So that's all the questions I had related to media. I got another one about what do I think of the long-term ramifications of Roosevelt running against Taft. It's been a couple years since I took that class, and so I just know that it had more to do with it probably had more to do with our success of winning World War II and how Roosevelt handled things. But I can't really answer more on that. Thank you for watching. Thank you for participating in this Q&A. I'll have more reviews coming out hopefully in the coming weeks, and I'll see you next time. Bye.